Now we will discuss about the introduction to the AWT. So what is the full form of AWT? Okay, abstract window toolkit. So it is a one standard library in Java. So using this you can implement the graphical user interface applications. Graphical user interface applications. What is meant by the graphical user interface? Means whatever we are seeing, the icons and labels, checkboxes, radio buttons, forms, these are all come under the graphical user interface. So it provides the some classes for an window. So we have to display the those all these things on the window. So what are those classes? Button classes, menu classes, text field classes, checkbox classes, radio classes. Like this it will provide the so many classes. So using those classes we can display the those things on the windows. So it is a one type of API. API stands for the application programming interface. So using this you can develop the graphical user interface or window based applications in Java. So that is the purpose of the AWT, abstract window toolkit. In previous class we discussed about the exception hierarchy. So like that here also we will discuss the AWT hierarchy, abstract window toolkit hierarchy Java. So what are the things are there? Components are there, containers are there, layout managers are there, event handlings are there, graphics and drawings are there. So what is meant by the components? Components, AWT provides various components. So what are those components? Such as buttons, labels, text fields, checkboxes, radio boxes. Like this so many components are there to create the GUI applications using Java programming. Next one is the containers. What is meant by the containers? AWT provides containers like panels, frames and dialog boxes, and we have to organize these are into a group. So in the Java application, suppose if you want to display the one frame or any radio buttons into a one frame or into a one panel or one dialog box, so you have to group those things into a one group. So such type of things you can create using the containers. Next one is the layout managers. What is the purpose of the layout managers? Layout managers are responsible for arranging the data in the container. Some of the layout managers are border layout, flow layout, etc. So using layout managers you can arrange the data in a proper way in the containers. So for example, border layout and the flow layout. Using border layout you can you can create the borders for the container and the top border, bottom border, left border, like this. And flow layout means so we can arrange the data. So which data has to appear display the first, which data has to appear the second, like this we can arrange the data using the flow layout. So next one is the event handling. What is meant by the event handling? AWT allows the user to handle the events like mouse clicks, key press, etc. So event means an action can perform while clicking the any button or any button. So suppose if you pressed the any button on the keyboard, then there is a action occur. Suppose if you pressed the button A, so A will display on the monitor, means you are display the button A character on the monitor. So that is the event. So what is the action here? Displaying the A letter on the monitor. Next one is the mouse click. Using mouse also you can perform the actions. So how is it? So if you want to open the one folder, then you have to double click on that folder using the mouse. So we have using that is also one action. Performing action is known as the event. So next one is the graphics and drawing. It is the feature of one feature of the AWT. So that helps to draw the shapes, insert images and write text in the components of Java applications. Using graphics and drawing you can draw the some graphics, you can draw the some shapes like circle, rectangle, and the rectangle, triangle. Like this you can draw the some shapes on the Java applications window or container. Next one is the you can insert the images in the container and components using in the Java applications. These are the hierarchy of the Java AWT: components, containers, layout managers, event handling, graphics, and drawing. So this is the diagrammatically representation of the AWT. So first one is the object component. Under component we have the buttons, labels, checkboxes, choices, lists, and container. Next we have the again in container window, panel. So in panel, using panels you can create the applets, and window, using window you can create the frames and dialog boxes. So these are the some AWT components here we are mentioning here. So some components are there: labels, text field, text area, and the buttons and checkboxes. Like this we have the some are there using the first one. So what is meant by the text field? So using text field you can create the text boxes. You can create the text boxes. These text boxes will accept the input from the users. Next, label. What is meant by the label? It displays the name of the label. So it can, you can read only, you can't change anything. Suppose if you want to display the name on the screen, then using label field you can display the name, parent name, and phone number. Like this we have some labels. Next one is the text area. What is meant by the text area? What is the difference between the text field and the text area? Using text field you can give the only single line, but using the text area you can accept the multiple lines as input, or you can display the multiple lines as output. Next one is the button. So using button component you can create the buttons. Suppose radio buttons, and the submit button, reset button, clear button. Like this you can create the some buttons using the button component. Next one is the checkbox. Checkbox is a one component using the checkbox. What is the purpose of the checkbox? Suppose if you want to select the more than one option, suppose if you qualified more classes, suppose you passed intermediate, 10th class, degree, PG, if you want, then you have to select, you have passed. In such type of cases you can use the checkboxes. Next one is the choice. Choice means using choice you can any choice, your choice. Suppose you have a one subject, so operating system is Java is there, operating system is there, and the Python subject is there. 3 subjects are, among those subjects you have to select the only one. So that is the choice. Such type of cases you can use the choice. Next one is so these are the some components of the AWT components. So many are there, I displayed only some few of these things. So next one is the types of containers in Java. So what are the AWT types of containers? So we will discuss now. First one is the window, panel, frame, dialog. These are the container types of containers. So first one is window, panel, frame, dialog. So what is the purpose of the window? What is the purpose of the panel? What is the purpose of the frame? What is the purpose of the dialog? So window, a window is a top level container. So whatever we have the types of containers, among those window is a top level container. So what is the purpose of this? It represents a graphical window or dialog boxes. The window class extends the container class, which means it can contain the other components also, such as buttons, labels, and text fields. Next one is the panel. So what is the purpose of the panel? This is also one container class in Java. So it is a lightweight container. Compared to window, it is a lightweight container that can be used to grouping other components together within a window or a frame. Suppose if you created some labels, text fields, buttons, radio buttons, checkboxes. So using panel you can group them into the single unit or in a window or on a frame. Next one, what is frame? Frame is the one type of container. So it contains the title bar and border and have the menu bars also. If you want to create the menu bars, then we can use the frames. If you want to display the container title and borders for the container, then we can use the frame. Next one is the dialog. So a dialog is a temporary window. A dialog box is a temporary window. So what is meant by the temporary window? Suppose if you are entering the phone number, if it is exceeding the after 10 numbers, if you enter the 11th number, then it will show the phone number should be 10 digits only. If you click on the OK button, then it will disappear. So that is the purpose of the dialog box. That's why it is called the temporary window. So what is our title? AWT, Java AWT and event handling. Already we discussed the AWT, Abstract Window Toolkit. Now we will discuss about the event. So what is meant by the event? So event, a change in the state of an object is known as event. So event describes the change in the state of source. Events are generated as a result of user interaction with the graphical user interface components. So suppose, listen, so what is the change in the status of an object? Suppose if you created the one button, submit button on the form, after entering all the fields, what are the fields you have? Suppose your name, your father name, your date of birth and your education qualifications. After entering all these things, you have to submit those things into the server. Then that time there is a submit button. So when you are clicking on the submit button, the state has been changed. Which change? Whatever you enter all the details, those details will save in the server. So that is the change. So next, so what are the events in our computer? We have the two events only. So keyboard events and the mouse events. So we will discuss now. So what is meant by the keyboard events, what is meant by the mouse events, what are the types of keyboard events and what are the types of mouse events. This is the diagrammatical representation of the classification of events, foreground events and the background events. So we will discuss what is meant by the foreground event and what is meant by the background events. So this is the continuation. So what is meant by the foreground event? Foreground events are the events that require user interaction to generate. So foreground events are generated by the users. So it is needed the user interaction. Suppose example, if you want to submit your details into the server, then there is a user interaction needed. What is that interaction? You have to click on the button. That is the user interaction. Suppose there is a big form, so you have to fill the remaining fields also. Already you filled some other things, you have to fill some other things, then you have to scroll the form down. Then that time also need the user interaction. You have to scroll using mouse, you have to scroll the form. So this is the foreground events, means if any event occurs, that is needed the user interaction. Next one is the background events. What is meant by the background event? So background event doesn't require the user interaction. So it generates the automatically background. So example of these events are the operating system. So operating system will manage the, suppose if you click on the submit button, your details are storing in the server. How it will happens? Server means in the backend. So operating system will communicate with the database server and it will store your details in the database. So this is the background event. Next one is the how we can handle the events in the Java, that is called the event handling mechanism. So this event handling mechanism allows the programmers to control the events. So if you want to control the events, you have to handle the event. So that is called the event mechanism. So when event occurs, it should handled by the user. Java uses the delegation event model to handle the events. Delegation event model we can use the to handle events in the Java. So this model consists of the two main components. Delegation event model contains the two main components. Those are the source and listeners. So what is the purpose of the source and what is the purpose of the listeners? So events are generated from the source. Events are generated from the source. There are various sources like buttons, checkboxes, list, menu item, choices, scroll bar, text components, windows, etc. to generate the event. Suppose, listen, source. So if you want to take the details of the one particular user name, if you want to take the name, so what is the event there? Here we have to create the one source. What is the source? Text field is the source. In that source, the user enters the his name. So that is the source. Next one is the listener. What is listener? Listeners are used to handling the events generated from the source. Whatever generated the events from the source, those are handling by the listeners. Each of these listeners presents interfaces that are responsible for handling events. So delegation model, this is the diagrammatical representation of the delegation model, sources and the listeners. It consists of two main parts, sources and the listeners. So these are the event classes and listener interfaces. So Java provides a variety of event classes and the corresponding listeners interfaces. Suppose if you want to handle the one event class, so it has a corresponding listener interface. So it has a handler using one interface, listener interface. Those things we will discuss now here. So first one is the action event. For if you want to handle the action event, then you need the action listener. So adjustment event, we have the adjustment action listener. Next one is the component event. For that we have the component listener. Again container event. So container, we have the container listener. So what is meant by the action event? So an event that indicates that the component defined action occurred. So when action occurred, then this event triggers this event handled by the action listener. Next one is the adjustment event. The adjustment event is emitted by the adjustable like scroll bar. So suppose if you want to scroll your form top to bottom or bottom to top, then adjustment event will occur. That event handled by the adjustment listener. Next one is the component event. An event that indicates that component moved the size, changed its visibility. Suppose if you are what is that? If you are changing the size of the image, then that time component event will occur. Such type of event will handled by the component listener. Next one is the container event. When a component is added to a container or removed from it, then this event will occur. So this event will handled by the container listener. Example is the, if you want to add the one text box to the form or application, then that time it will occur. If you want to remove the some text boxes or buttons from the application, then that time also it will occur. So these are the event classes and listener interfaces in the Java. So some more are there. So focus event and the item event, key event, mouse wheel event, text event and the window event. Focus event means if your cursor is focusing on that particular text field, then it will occur. So next one is the item event, means an event that indicates whether an item was selected or not. Suppose if you click on the one any text field or text area, that text field or text area is selected or not. If you checked on the checkbox, if it is selected or not, like that. Next one is the key event. Key event occurs using the keyboard. So if you press the any key on the keyboard, then this event occurs. Mouse event means we have the three buttons on the mouse, left button, right button, middle button. If you click on any button, then a mouse event will occur. So mouse wheel event means the middle button of the mouse. Next one is the text event, an event that occurs when an object text changes. If you want to change the any name or anything, whatever you enter, then it will occurs. Next one is the window event, an event which indicates the whether a window has changed its status or not. So these are the event classes and listener interfaces. We can use some methods in the listener interfaces. So what are the methods we will discuss now? Each listener interface contains specific methods that must be implemented to handle the events. So we have the event listeners. So in that listeners, we can handle that event classes using some methods. So what are those methods we will discuss? First one is the action listener. In action listener, we have the method action performed method and adjustment listener. In that we have the adjustment value changed method. Next, component listener. In component listener, we have the again 4 methods: component resized method and component shown method and component moved method and component hidden method. Next one is the container listener. So in this we have the 2 methods: component added method, component removed method. Next, focus listener. In this again we have the 2 methods: focus gained and focus lost. Item listener. In this we have the item stated changed method. And key listener events. In key listener events we have the key typed, key pressed and key released. Next one is the mouse listener. In mouse listener we have the mouse pressed, mouse clicked, mouse entered, mouse exited, mouse returned. Like this we have the methods. One listener contains like this so many methods. I displayed all these things here. Next one is this is the example program. So how we can implement the AWT and with the events. So now I am here displaying the one button. So for that I am importing the AWT package and event package, under that and window adapter and window event. See, I am creating the one class. So my class name is public class button example. So class is a keyword, public is a access specifier, button underscore example is the my class name, and again under that class I am creating the main function, public static void main method. So after that I am creating the instance of a frame with the label. So using frame class I am creating the frame. See here, frame is a class, again small letters frame is a object. So I am creating the example to label. After that I am creating the button label. So button is a class. So small button is an object. Using new keyword I am creating the button object to the button class, and label name is the click here. After that I am positioning the button on the frame. So I am giving the y-axis, x-axis like this bounds 80 pixels, 100 pixels, 64 pixels and 30 pixels. 80 pixels from the bottom, 100 pixels from the left, 64 right, 30 from the top, like this we can give the some pixels. Next one is the we have to add our labels to our frame. Using add method I am adding the frame dot add button. So next, frame dot size I am setting the frame size 300 into 300 and frame set layout null, I am not giving the any layout, and set visible true. If it is give the true, then only our frame will be visible to see. Next, we are adding our frame to our window listener. Using add window listener method we are adding our frame to the window. After that we are overriding the method. What is that method? Window closing. When you click on the cross button, window will close. For that we are overriding that one. So under that system dot exit. Thank you very much.